How are you doing tonight? Yeah, we have come from Chicago to rock you.
So, when did the saga of Trouble begin?
Way back there.
Me and Bruce answered an ad. We were playing in a band together where we live. And Rick, he had an ad in there looking for a guitar player and a singer. Back then, and when was it? Like, I don't want to say the year, but there wasn't a lot of bands that were playing the kind of music that we were starting to get into, like Sabbath and Priest and Purple and all that kind of stuff. So in the band we were in, we had to make kind of, some of the other guys wanted to play other types of music. We wanted to do Priest and Sabbath and stuff. So when we seen the ad, you know, because that's what they had written in there, we were like, all right, let's go, let's answer it. So we went up there, and I think even after the first time just jamming together, it just kind of felt right, you know.
Were you guys heavy from the beginning, or was it a sound that was developed over the first years?
This guy brought that sound to the band. It was always the sound we liked, but I don't think none of us knew how to do it. And then when he showed up with these Marshalls and his Flying V, kind of showed us how, and took it from there.
Well, even then, though, we were still just playing all cover songs, but we were doing a lot of heavy cover songs. But when we started our first, I think maybe our very first original was The Tempter, and that was pretty heavy.
Still pretty heavy.
Yeah, it went from there.
Because the first time I heard about you guys was back in 1983 on the Metal Massacre 4, The Last Judgment, which is obviously a very cool song. How did the Metal Massacre thing come about?
We met this guy in St. Louis who was doing like fanzines and things back then. Somehow he heard of us. I don't really remember how, but we recorded a live show at a deaf club. Everybody was deaf, so I remember everybody having their ears into the PAs and stuff, you know. But somehow Brian heard it. It got circulated somehow, and actually it's available right now again, that concert. He just liked it, and you know,
Brian from Metal Blade.
Yeah, Brian from Metal Blade, and so we just bought a van and drove out to California.
But the actual Last Judgment was from a demo, a 4-song demo we did, and he took, you know, he used that because those Metal Massacre albums were all really promotion for bands that he was going to sign for, you know, almost all the bands on those he ended up signing anyway.
Okay, so he didn't put the bands in a studio. He took the demos and put the songs out on vinyl.
Well, he wanted us to do it, a song for it, you know. So I think we just went did a 4-track and at a friend's house. I mean, we recorded that song for Metal Massacre, you know. So the rest is history, I guess.
Did you get a lot of attention from that Metal Massacre thing?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like back then, you know, all the metal that was happening then was all all satanic kind of stuff back. You know, like with the Metal Massacre albums, not Metal Massacre, the Metal for Mothers and stuff. So we were always looked at a little differently. And I remember walking down the street in L.A. We were just behind the times. Like, you know, we're walking down the street with ripped jeans, round glasses, fringes on, and tie-dye T-shirts, and people out there in L.A. at the time were looking at us like we were from outer space. You know, everybody made a big deal back then also about, you know, you're singing this or singing that, or you look like this or listen to this, you know, and that's all we were. We were just kind of hippies growing up playing the music that we liked and the reason that we were doing it, you know.
I think the music, the sound of it for us was a little different than some of the other metal. Even the bands that were heavy, we always had that little bit of psychedelic edge to it that made it different than, you know, most other people.
Did Brian Slagel offer you a deal straight away?
I don't. At first, we kind of turned him down. I think
we never even answered him.
Yeah,
we weren't interested at first, and then when he sent the contract the second time, we were like, well, we may as well give it a shot, you know, and see what happens from here. I mean, we were young, and we didn't really know what to do, to tell you the truth. We're like, do we just sign this, send it back? We were just kind of confused kids at that time. And then eventually someone said, yeah, you know, just go over it, make sure you're getting what you want. And we didn't, but we signed it, and that's what happened.
We thought, no, this is cool. I mean, here you're growing up, you know, that's what you want to be, you know, sitting in front of your mirror at home, like, you know, and all of a sudden here we're in a van driving out to California making a record. Like, it was incredible, you know.
Yeah, he does My Sweet Lord too, really impressive. That's good too.
Oh, I think I saw part. That's where it came in. I saw part of it.
But isn't it a pity? And Paul too comes out and does that for you too. On Let It Be.
That's right. I forgot Paul was there.
That too, yeah.
Isn't Ringo there too?
Yeah, he does Photograph, but it was sold, man.
Besides from being the founder of Trouble, you're also a chef, aren't you?
I claim to be. Yes, sir.
Is that at a soup kitchen or at one of the better restaurants in Chicago?
Actually, what it is I own a string of retail seafood markets, and basically what I do is create dishes to sell for people to bring home, to-go meals.
So, from you being a chef, how's the food in Stockholm? I know you tried some ribs. You had some pasta at the La Cucina place.
Correct, yeah.
How was that?
Everything's been great so far. Everywhere in Europe, I don't think I've had a bad meal ever, out of all my years of traveling. Maybe
Stockholm is okay in your books.
Oh, it's great. It's awesome. It's one of the best. We had a 5-course meal last night. It was outstanding. We had foie gras and mussels, and it was beautiful, beautiful tenderloin, cooked perfectly. Like I said, I haven't had a bad meal here.
Because we were playing at the time of your first album, and we were blown away by that guitar sound that you had. Did everything just click in the studio so you could achieve that guitar sound? Or was it a hard thing to get on tape?
No, that was exactly our guitar sound. Bill Metoyer told me a story that he was the guy that engineered that record and the skull for the Metal Blade. And he was saying all the bands that he was working with at that time kept asking him, man, how did they get that sound? And he said, just the way they set their amps. He said they didn't have any hot rodded amps or any special stuff. We didn't mic anything specially, and that's what it was. I mean, that was our live sound, really.
I've always wondered if you, Eric, was angry at the point of the first record because bastards, and it was so straight on.
I'm still angry. When I read the paper today, it's like it's still the same stuff going on. So I don't know if I was angry or anything. I was just looking for things to write about, you know. And growing up listening to Lennon and stuff, where he was doing the same thing, where he was just kind of pissed off at certain things happening in the world and things, and I was just imitating him, you know.
Because you fucking bastards gonna pay.
Yeah, and they will too, I guess, one day. And you know what? It's still true. That's what was weird about it. Listening to it, you know, and then I read the paper again, and everything, it was still there, just different names, you know. So I don't know if we're ever going to really learn, but you know.
White metal. Was that your idea?
No, that was Metal Blades. They didn't know what to do with us, because like I was mentioned before, all the metal and stuff was black metal, you know, and I didn't get into that. I didn't believe in that part of it. I know a lot of bands probably didn't even believe what they were saying. They just thought it sounded cool and it was dark and this and that. So I probably said just as many Satans and stuff as they did, but this way. So Metal Blade really didn't know what to do with us at that point, so they labeled it white metal.
But the second album is a bit darker. Could they still carry on that white metal tag?
That album was depressing. It took me a long time there was a long time where I couldn't even listen to it. I mean, lyrically, I mean, musically, I don't know. I mean, for some reason it just fit. I don't know why, you know, these guys were writing the music that heavy at that time. Maybe, probably because we were in the Sabbath and stuff, you know. But, you know, the lyrics were dark. I mean, that time in my life right there wasn't the greatest either. And I couldn't listen to it either for a long time because I didn't want to, how do you say it, I didn't feel, I don't know, I don't even know how to say it like, I didn't want it to be true. It was depressing to me even, you know. So finally, like say after the first Deaf American record with End of My Days, at that point I knew that it wasn't like that anymore. And I could kind of come to grips with that album because I knew I wasn't in that frame of mind anymore.
But there are some great stuff on that record, like songs like The Skull, The Wish, Wickedness of Man, probably my favorite on that record.
Well, I kind of ran away from that too a little bit. I mean, I remember kind of the time I got this letter in the mail. Actually, I think it was from a mom from Sweden, actually, thanking me because her son listened to the song The Wish, and it helped him not to commit suicide. And, you know, here I'm just dude driving into Chicago for rehearsals, and I kind of couldn't handle it a little bit because I didn't think that I could do something like that maybe, and I ran away from it, from that kind of thing, and I did not accept that responsibility, you know, for some reason. I don't know, I was just a kid trying to make music and doing what we enjoyed, you know. But now it's different now, you know, now I kind of, we're older now, it's been a long time, and I more accept that responsibility that these kids are listening to our music, and I think I do have a responsibility to, and what I'm saying, because these kids, just like us at that time, you can't, you're impressionable at that age, and you know, you're listening to what somebody's saying to you, and you believe it, you know. But now I think I've come to grips with all that stuff, and do have that responsibility.
Rick and Bruce, what are your relation to The Skull?
Just the music, writing the heavy music. I mean, we didn't really have anything to do with the lyrics or what was said on it. We just liked heavy music. Him and I both from day one. That's why we really hooked up and clicked, because we liked the heaviest stuff out there. I mean, and that's what we wanted to do. So by the time we got to The Skull, we were just writing even heavier. It was like the slower, the doomier, the fatter the guitars, the bigger the sound. That's what we liked, you know. And I don't think we even to this day really know what he was singing about on that record, to tell you the truth.
Well, and the guitar sound on it too. It's just for, you know, their sounds are different than each other, but for some reason they fit together. It's like, I don't know, like a Lennon-McCartney harmony or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain, kind of, but it did fit together, and it was like really an accident. I don't know if we, like you were saying before about how did you get that sound like, you know.
It's a great atmosphere on that record.
Yeah, that little square in time is,
It does have a vibe. Yeah, it does.
And you recorded Run to the Light a bit after. Were you on a roll at that point?
Well, I know, I think musically at least, that album, we were kind of looking at what we had done already with the first two records and thinking, you know, why should we keep ourselves in a rut and people calling us Sabbath clones and they can only play slow and heavy? It's like, we like all these other bands. Why can't we incorporate those influences into our music too?
That was
you
the
know?
first step of incorporating other
Right.
influences.
And we maybe didn't pull it off to the degree we wanted to, but it was the start of learning how to do it.
It was
anyway.
the stepping stone.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
just recently somebody asked me, you know, when are you going to make an album like The Skull again? And I'm like, well, I hope we can't, because I mean, I don't think I'd even be alive if I could write how I felt at that time. It's been 20 years, like, and if I still felt like that, I mean, lyrically, you know, I'd be dead instead. So it was impossible, and I'm glad that I can't anymore, you know.
you even got Bill Ward to turn up for the video to Run to the Light. How did you manage that?
The guy shooting the video he lived by him or something.
Yeah, neighbors with them.
No, we thought it was, hey, yeah, man, Bill Ward in our video. Cool, here we go. We made it now. Especially the best part was like when he threw our drummer off the drums. I just told him we should do it again, and this time really let him have it into the cars behind it because we were in this junkyard. Really smashed his head into the thing. That was the last time he played. Then everybody would know why he wasn't on the next record because he was hurt.
One way. Are you going in there? I reckon. Look at this. We attack America from the south.
The ultimate Swedish.
Tora,
plan.
tora, tora.
Like the Cuban Missile Crisis.
I know. Set it up. All right, you come in stage left. Start playing your bass. Start here. Eric, you come in to the big house. B4.
You sunk my battleship.
How come you got involved in the Probot thing?
Well, actually, you know, I came home one day and there was a message on my answering machine wanting me to call somebody about that. And at first I thought it was kind of a joke in a way, but because I haven't been doing it, I kind of ran away from home in 1997. Just tired of the whole thing, so I was hiding anyway. So how somebody found my number, I really even don't know. But it ended up being true, and it was a great time. Actually, that's what kind of got me started to do this. And
Did you know Dave Grohl from before?
I've never met him. But like I said, that was the reason I called everyone up and we kissed and made up, and here we are again.
Right. I was wondering because I was watching the film Poltergeist. The part in it where they say "run to the light."
Oh, is that incredible? I ran. I paused the movie.
And that's the only one you saw? That's the only reference from a movie? Not bad then.
Paused the movie and ran and got my pencil. It was great. Run to the light. You know, that's exactly where it came from, and it's not the only one.
If you could name all 12, you get a free DVD.
That was 1987, and nothing happened for a while after. I mean, for me, it was a bit quiet about news, about what your whereabouts. What was going on after Run to the Light?
Well, we were trying to get. We heard that Rick Rubin was interested in the band, so business. What else? You know. We were getting out of our deal with Metal Blade and wanting to move up to the next level, hopefully, you know.
That was 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Also, replacing a drummer.
Management, everything.
Yeah, it was quiet for you, but it was.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of.
Yeah, I mean,
bunch
just
of stuff
just
going
going
on,
over the
business.
contracts alone took like 13 months, going back and forth. It was, yeah,
Business.
It was just a mess for us.
yeah.
But you came back with a really good album.
Well, you know, in the meantime, while all that was going on, to tell you the truth, it kind of shaped that record, you know. Mm-hmm. And like I mentioned before about being out of how I felt. Well, I always talk lyrically. It's not me, but. End of my days, I knew it wasn't true anymore, and from end of my days to all is forgiven. So I mean, during that time, I mean, it also shaped how we were feeling at that time and our character. We made it out of this, like the first album, The Skull, all the business crap on Run to the Light and stuff like that, and to End of My Days, and it was almost like here we are. We felt great about everything. They were exciting times at that point. We signed with a major label. The music was, you know, we were just coming into who we are, you know, and Rick Rubin, I think, helped a lot of us arranging the songs, and
The songs were a bit straighter.
well,
He
yeah.
pushed us to. We never had anybody push us in the studio to do better, write better, play better, and he did that. He definitely was getting the best out of us.
And cracked the whip.
And
Yeah.
it showed.
Yeah.
Weren't you pissed off with him
Yeah,
Oh,
sometimes.
Of course.
in the beginning when he said you have to take this great riff out and?
Well,
Oh yeah.
He compromised some.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some things too. We were adamant about a few things, but I think it's a great record. You know.
Yeah, you know what? In the end, we talk about like how he cut this stuff out and cut that out. He only changed 3 songs on that album.
Pretty much. I mean, there was things that were a little tighter, you know, like we didn't need this chorus, or so let's start the beginning of the song like this, you know, things like that.
And
You know.
you know what he taught us is to make a song flow better. Because we were notorious for like doing this great riff and then stopping and starting on something completely different. It had nothing to do with the song, which is cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to take it to another level, you want to keep people's interest in the song and make it flow. You know, make it interesting from
What-
start to finish.
What did he call it? Self-indulgent crap?
Yep.
I remember arguing you didn't want to put Misery on because for that reason, like, you know, and
The whole middle part.
well,
the
yeah,
whole
and
middle
we
part
got it,
was
so we got it on there, though. and
self-indulgent crap.
Self-indulgent
Well, we did have
crap.
to compromise. We did a single with the middle cut in half or something like that.
That it was too narrow and tall. So it tipped over. It did tip over. You can see it's not even in the water far enough.
I don't know because if it's weighted down here, it shouldn't matter.
That's the problem, was it heavy?
So Bruce, did you find that Atomic Rooster record you were looking for?
No. The very first one with Carl Palmer playing drums on it. I still haven't found it. I'm sure somebody could find it, but I just haven't found the person that could.
For how long have you been looking for it?
Probably about 2 or 3 years. But I'm a big fan of Vincent Crane, the keyboard player. I mean, I really loved the first Arthur Brown, Crazy World Arthur Brown that Vincent Crane played on and wrote most of the music, and followed him to Atomic Rooster.
Isn't it a bit strange that you're really into this keyboard player while you're a guitar player yourself?
Yeah, I examined that not too long ago. That
You played the wrong instrument.
I know. I've got all these records in my collection that are Hammond organ rock bands, like, you know, Purple and Atomic Rooster and Argent.
Rick Wakeman records, perhaps.
Yeah, not so much that. Not the synthesizer stuff as much as the Hammond organ guys. I don't know why, I just love it.
The Trouble album was released in 1990 and everybody was expecting great success. What happened status-wise with Trouble during those days? Did you get the tours?
It did reach another level.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't what everyone dreams of, but it did bring us to another level. We got good tours. We got a lot of radio play. We got MTV play. We got a lot of recognition from our peers, which is really important. We were like the band's band. All the musicians loved us. Musicians.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that a lot of people, you know, music was changing at that time. Grunge wasn't there yet. Glam was still a big thing. Thrash was in the background. We were kind of like stuck somewhere in outer space there.
Because I was wondering if the grunge thing came and like took over.
Not at that point.
You know, I kind of liked it though, because I thought
did
the
too.
music was heavy again.
Yeah.
Like the first Alice in Chains album. I mean, that's like what we were listening to, Sabbath influence and all that. I liked that it was happening, you know. And you know, now when I look back at those times anyway, it was success anyway in a way, because we were doing what we loved to do. And here we are sitting here right now talking with you about it.
Right.
You know, so
And Manic Frustration was obviously a brilliant record too, that you delivered a bit later.
it was.
Yeah.
That was where our peak, I believe. Yeah.
And then I think the grunge thing was really starting to take over, and
At that
But how
point.
come Trouble and Manic Frustration were so mature as they are?
we were more mature. You know, we weren't 21 anymore. We were 30, 31. You know, around that age, and you know, you learn. You get older, you learn how to write songs better. You learn more about the world. You know, just
Recording.
everything.
It's
yeah,
just-
It was
recording.
our fifth album by then.
Yeah.
So we knew what, I mean, we just went in, we knew what we wanted to do, you know, at that time.
If we were still making the first album over and over again at that point, I think it would have been a failure.
Right. As long as we keep growing, you know, we don't lose.
And every album's been, I mean, even Plastic Green had, you know, I mean, we were, you know, I like that album too. I mean, every album was different, you know. That's one thing I can say. I mean, you can maybe compare the first two, but those are different to me too.
Yeah.
Every album has been different so far. And this new one that we got planned coming out and is different from all them. I mean, it's still us, you know. Still got the, you can tell when you press play, you know it's Trouble. But they all sound different, and that's one of the things that I am proud of.
I saw you guys in Holland a couple of times after Manic Frustration, but no records for some years. Weren't you interested in making another record after Manic?
It was kind of like the same thing in between
Run to the Light.
Run to the Light and the Trouble 1990 album, where we changed labels, we changed drummers,
Change
management.
starting over again.
Drummers and management, they just seem interchangeable, I guess.
Never agreed with us.
It's like Spinal Tap, kind of. That's where they got the idea for the movie.
But you kept on playing, that's my point. No matter what the situation was in the band, with drummers,
Right.
management, or whatever, you kept on playing.
Because it's not what we do, it's who we are. You have to do it. You know, it's not like, you know, going to work and, you know, doing this. It's who we are. You have to do it.
But what happened after Plastic Green had you packed it in for a while?
I think we had enough at that point for a
Well,
while.
it was just the business part of it, everything.
Everything.
Just
Becoming
had
too
enough.
much for you?
Just ran away. Me personally, I just ran away from home, kind of.
It was a lot.
Had enough.
Yeah.
So
It was time for us to get a break, basically, from each other, from Trouble, from management, from record labels, from everything. We all needed to go evaluate what was going on, I think, at that point.
And maybe another band that was actually making, you know, a lot decent or a lot of money may have stuck it out and stayed together for that, but we didn't even have that to keep it together. So,
and it wouldn't have been good
Yeah, it wouldn't
anyway
have-
if you
yeah,
do it
No,
for
I
that
know.
reason,
Anyway.
you know.
Yeah.
but
it
I
was-
mean, that's why some other bands stick it out.
Right.
And you can tell, you
Yeah.
know. And we didn't want to make our reputation to me is worth more than money or stuff like that, you know. Or I didn't want to just stick it out and do another record, you know, and it sucks. Like,
It was
you know.
almost to me that was almost what we were doing with Plastic Greenhead. It was almost to that point right then where it was like, are we doing this for the right reasons? And that's why it kind of fell apart at the end, I think. I think that was a big reason. Because I don't know if we should have actually done it. It came out good. I'm happy with it, but I was on that brink right then. So I'll tell you one thing, it's probably the best thing that we've ever done was take a break. Because now I think we're back stronger, and I think the music's stronger. I think we're stronger, more mature, able to handle what we're going through better. And
Sometimes you need a break to realize.
right. Sometimes you have to step away to see things. So we'll see what happens with the new one.
And I think the
Was
new
it the
album-
fans? Was it the fans' demands that got you back?
No,
Reform.
I mean, I always kind of paid attention to what's going on. Like I said before, I think the reason is just it's who we are, not what we do. And I think it got to the point where everybody was like, man, we need to rock, need to get it out again, you know. And I don't think we'd be sitting here if we didn't feel like the new album, because we didn't want to just go out and play those songs and, like, you know, some bands, we still feel like we can write music, you know. And like I said, we wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't think the new album that we have planned is good. It wasn't good. There's no point, you know. But right now we're remembered for what we did. Like, I don't want to go out and, if, you know, the new album sucks, just to make a record. Like, I don't want to be remembered for that kind of a thing, you know. We know we can still write music. We feel like we can.
We've got something to prove, too.
Yeah, our
I think, you know.
attitudes are different now, you know. So here, we're ready. Let's go.
Yeah. And you found a new bass player.
Mr. Chuck
Well,
Robinson?
he used to be a friend of ours, and now he's in the band. So
We brought him up from the farm club. You know, it works.
Trouble Farm Club.
Actually, we're happy to have him. It's been a breath of fresh air in the band.
we needed somebody to do all the computer stuff.
A lawyer and have all of this stuff sent to him.
I've been a big fan of Trouble for many years, and you know, went and saw all the shows and everything, followed him around a little bit, and you know, somehow I can't even really remember how me and Eric became friends, and I went on the road with those guys in '95 on the Plastic Tour as bass. Actually, I was Ron and Bruce's tech, and when whatever happened with Ron, they needed a bass player kind of quick, and they called me, and I came out and worked out pretty well, and I haven't left yet. So
It was a privilege to me to see you guys in Stockholm at the end of November at the show.
Well, thank you.
I thought it was great.
You remember it?
No, not right now. I don't. When was it? Yesterday or? I remember the party afterwards more than I remember the show. No, I'm kidding.
Were you nervous?
No.
A lot of recording equipment, 700 fans.
Not at the
Cameras.
fans, maybe a little bit for the recording of it, because there's no lying when you listen to the tape.
Well, plus, we didn't have a road crew with us, so
Yeah.
it just makes you kind of focus a little bit harder during the show, and you try to play a little bit better, a little bit tighter.
Did you rehearse a lot before
Not really.
going to Stockholm?
No.
Not enough.
We're like
DVD will probably prove that. But
well, we wanted it to be like Zeppelin, like where they just call each other up. Hey, we're going to Stockholm. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know.
We did, I think, 3 shows to prepare for it in the Chicago area, and each one of those progressively got a little bit better. But boy, I'll tell you, you wouldn't want to see that first show.
Yeah. The hardest part is just figuring too what songs to play, because everybody.
Plus, yeah, there's a
You
lot.
know, we've had like before I said, all the albums are different than each other, so everybody's telling you, play this song, play that song, play this song, play, you know.
There's a lot of old ones on this one, though, and we broke out some old ones that we haven't done in years.
yeah.
I was glad you did Soul 9 and
Yeah.
you did
The Skull. I
The
don't think we
Skull.
played that since
Since it came out,
1990, maybe we did it at rehearsal. So,
It was fun.
oh, you know what? That might not be on here. We should not mention it.
Is it true that Chuck and Ole rehearsed for themselves?
no,
They had to.
every day, sometimes twice a day. We just go through the set, just
For how
drums and
long?
bass.
For how long?
Like 2 weeks.
It
something
seemed
like
longer than
yeah.
that because they did it at my house.
That's dedication.
Yeah, well, they're the new guys, even though Ole was an old guy. He
We
was,
just wanted to really be locked in together. That's all. And I wanted to know what he was doing, because that's what was important to me, to play with him, to be locked in with the drums. And so he lives in Boston, so when he came to Chicago for rehearsal, he didn't have anything to do all day anyway. Neither did I. I just stay at Eric's. So it was like we just had nothing to do except rehearse all day, and it was easy. We both loved doing it, you know. And then these guys didn't have to worry that we weren't going to know what we were doing or anything. And it just, you know, it was fun.
They got to be there. It's the foundation.
So
We
the
had
question
enough
is,
to worry about.
are these guys more ambitious or over ambitious, or are you guys lazy?
We know.
I have a hard enough. I have a hard enough time remembering the lyrics to have to worry about, you know, him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so you recorded the upcoming DVD, and we're really anxious to see that and hear
Me too.
it.
so are we.
But there's more stuff coming. You're working on a new album.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff.
Can you
right
tell
now.
us something about it?
About what?
The new album.
It's got some new songs.
Got some new songs, some new
Mostly
lyrics.
all of them are new.
Yeah.
There's a lot to choose from, so we're going to record all of them and see what happens.
Yeah, people are asking, what kind of style is it? Well, I think there's a whole slew. There's like some like the early records, there's some like the Deaf American, more grooving, shorter songs, and there's some stuff like maybe you haven't heard us do before.
It's heavy too. It might be one of the heaviest ones since the Skull, but in a different way. There's different things. Different life is different now than it was then. So it's you can't. It's not a depressing heavy, but I think it's heavy. You know. I'm looking forward to it.
We just finished recording an unplugged trouble of 5 older songs, 4 older songs, 4 older songs and 2 new ones, and we're going to be releasing that probably before the 7 record.
What songs did you do?
We did Rain, Requiem, Flowers, Misery. And then the two new ones are called Smile and 7 a.m. What I like about the new songs is it's not where you hear it, it's like that's trouble. It just sounds like
These were written for
musicians.
Unplugged.
Yeah, they were written
And
for
this
this.
acoustically, pretty much.
And it sounds like just songwriters writing a song. It doesn't really sound like trouble, which is what I like about it. I think it's great.
Well, then I'm happy because I got a new DVD coming out, Unplugged record, and a new
New
record.
album. Here we go. Here we go.
So then we have one sold. Hides.
We can get a pack of cigarettes.
I'm here, I'm walking. These boots are made for walking. Let's do that one. Dude, breathe.
Trouble?
All right.